Hi, today we're going to be talking about office ergonomics. My name is Michael Terry, I'm from Momentum Safety and Ergonomics, and this is the 5-Minute Safety Series. Okay, so when we're talking about office ergonomics, what we're really talking about here is trying to set up our workplace to suit us, not having to adapt our body to suit our workplace. And that is really what the essence of ergonomics is. It's creating an environment where it's set up to suit you, not the other way around. When it comes to our office, it's really about setting up our desk environment so that it fits our natural postures and we're not having to adapt ourselves into any awkward situations. So let's jump on in and have a little bit of a look at what the key risk factors are for the office workstation. And if we look at our typical risk factors, we can talk about force and exertion, awkward postures, and repetition and duration. They're the main ones that are relevant to any type of manual task, of which office ergonomics is one. Now, force is not going to be a big factor for the office workstation. You're not doing too much heavy lifting or movement, but there could be some awkward postures, and there could be, or there certainly will be, some repetition and potentially prolonged duration. And it's those second two which make the big difference as far as risk of aches, pains and injury are actually concerned. Jumping in and have a closer look at how they might be relevant to the office environment. So let's have a look at some awkward postures first. Here's a picture of someone starting to lose their posture, and it doesn't look too bad if you look at the position there. She's only a little bit flexed, a little bit slouched, but done over 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 4 months, that could start to add up. So these are the things where small differences done for a long period of time actually can make a really big difference. Here's another awkward posture. It's like his screen's a bit too low, his chin's poked forward, his head's bent forward. That will be placing undue stress on his neck and potentially creating neck pain and possible headaches as well. Here's another person who's got their chair too low or their desk too high, and it's causing their shoulder to be sort of elevated up into the air. That's going to put much more stress on the shoulder and neck area and potentially create problems with that. Here's a wrist one here. This person's got this chair too high this time or desk too low, and it's creating an extended wrist posture which puts much more pressure on your forearms. So these are some examples of postures which, if done for prolonged periods, will add up to being aches and pains. Some of the things that we see from excessive repetition or really prolonged duration is a syndrome called carpal tunnel, which is excessive overuse of the wrist and hand, leading towards swelling in the wrist and numbness in the hand. Some people also get what we call tennis elbow, and this can be caused by poor wrist and prolonged wrist position and prolonged duration or lots of repetition. It's a pain on the outside of the elbow just near the bone. So it follows from that if we want to control our risk a little bit better, we need to do a few things. First, we need to sit less, because that's one of the most prolonged duration type things that we do in an office environment. We need to improve our posture at the desk, and we need to somehow reduce the amount of repetition or possibly some duration as well. So let's look at how we might do that. So sitting less is one of the big challenges of every office environment, and most people, like I say, can't be done, can't sit less, but there is some things that you can do, and you just got to try and incorporate a little bit of standing into your day. So try and take a break, usually every 30 minutes or so, to stand up if you can. If you've got meetings, try and stand up in your meetings. Stand to greet people, stand to take phone calls, drink lots of water. You'll go to the water cooler, but also that water's also got to go somewhere, so it's not a bad way to get yourself up and out of your chair. Try and get out and take a bit of a walk, or at least stand for a period of time during your breaks, just to try and break up that posture as much as you can. You don't have to do all of these things, but if you could start to do some of these things, it would definitely mean you're spending less time in your chair. Standing workstations are not a bad option, and they're becoming much more used these days. When they first came out, I saw very rare, and it was only the occasional person that had a standing workstation. Nowadays they're much more popular. I sort of think they're for everyone. Some people really love them, some people really don't, but they're not a bad option to get you out of the chair a little bit more. If we want to reduce our repetition, we should try and get in the habit of taking breaks every so often. 30 to 45 minutes is usually a good time. Get up and out of that desk. If you're a very constant user of a keyboard or mouse, you should take what we call a micro pause every few minutes, just a 5-second break where you flex and stretch muscles of your wrist and hand. And also just doing a few stretches is not a bad idea as well. Things like some of these stretches here, so some side neck stretches, one we call neck retraction, which is making a double chin. You have to wait till people aren't looking at you before you do that one. Back extensions are a great idea. That'll definitely take away some of those flexed back postures that we talk about. And also there's a few wrist and forearm stretches, which again aren't a bad idea as far as just keeping those muscles nice and stretched, blood pumping through them, that sort of thing. Thanks for watching the 5-minute safety series. If you felt like you got some value out of these videos, please click on the screen to see some of the other videos in the 5-minute safety series, or otherwise feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel.